Friends, welcome back to my living room. This is Brent Hears here, and this channel is about coming into a place of just great peace, great inner wellness, great surrender with our lives and our environment. Not so much that we can be like enlightened monks that are just kind of sitting in a cave, not participating with life. Or not even necessarily being like super lazy and being like, whoa, well, if everything's okay, then what's the point of acting or doing anything? But arriving at a place of just incredible silence and stillness so that we can act effectively, so that when we do something, it produces the greatest results. And also when we do something that it produces the greatest good, so that the maximum amount of people can benefit from what we do and say and how we are as people. And I'm personally convinced that the very, very first recourse, the very first place that we look in order to be our best selves is to just come into great, deep stillness. And that's viewed from a certain perspective, and then kind of viewed from a different perspective. It's realizing that the world itself is very peaceful. Realizing that the universe, like the great majority of the universe outside of Earth, is very, very quiet and very still. And realizing that even a great majority of the Earth, if you find yourself in any area of the ocean, any sort of forest, just away from any capital city or any town, things are very quiet and peaceful. And the more we align ourselves with that peace, and the more we let things be quiet and let ourselves be quiet, and the more that we orient our attention to quiet and stillness and operate from there and discover ourselves as that silence, the less suffering we experience, the less strife, the less serious our problems seem, the less hostile life seems to be to us. And the more profound our actions and our words become. And so that's the theme of this channel. And what I want to share with you, I don't actually have a whole lot of time right now, so I have to keep this quite short. I want to share with you one of my most powerful techniques for releasing buckets of stress. I'm going to say 3 buckets of stress per time you use this tool. It's very cool. I share this with a lot of people and they get a lot of benefit out of it. And it works very well. So here we go. I call this affectionately the fuck my shit up meditation. And the way it works is this. For those of us who are stressed out, typically we are stressed out because there are 1 or 5 or 20 outcomes that we are afraid will happen either in a couple minutes or a couple years down the line. And we find ourselves already kind of clenched up and already kind of like mentally and emotionally and physically, with an emphasis on physically preparing ourselves for that feared event that might come in. And on one level, it seems like logical or smart to just kind of be tensed up and ready for that thing to happen. But it's actually not, because we are best equipped to deal with a problem once it actually comes into our lives. And it's very impossible and stressful, and just so much of our resources are wasted in preparing for problems that aren't even real and not even guaranteed to be real. So to be stressed is to be in a state of preparation for problems. Or put differently, to be stressed is to be in a state of trying to fix problems that are not real. And thus, what's happening is that stress, it's an energetic kind of like physical thing that comes up into our head and goes up into our imagination. We're thinking about all these things that could happen. And that stressful energy, what it really wants to do is it wants to leave the body. It's not actually meant to stay in the body. And so it's trying to get out, but it just kind of gets caught in the imagination and sort of recycled, and it's kept in. And this nervous energy, it kind of has like its own sort of survival mechanism. It wants to stay in place, and it stays in place by thinking of things to be stressed about. And so the key to releasing stress is to allow that stressful energy to release by bypassing the imagination and just letting it naturally come out. And so therefore the tool that we're using is a way of surrendering to the unknown, so that we are not mentally gripping or mentally coming up with different things that could happen. So this tool, the fuck my shit up meditation, which is what you'll use to release this stressful energy, works as follows. Whatever the feared event is, whatever it is you're scared that might happen, whatever it is that's most dreadful that could happen, and the aspects about it that are the most dreadful, we don't want them to happen. If our preference is to be heeded by the universe, these things will not happen. But at the same time, it comes to a point where we are ready to stop being bullied by our fears. And we're ready to stop feeling afraid. And it's like being a child in a bedroom and looking at your closet or looking under the bed and just being convinced that there's a monster or a wolf or something scary in there that's going to attack you and kill you. And the other part of you kind of knows that you're just making this up, but there's no sort of way to discern between, you know, what you're making up and whether or not it's real. And so you're kind of afraid that it might be real, but you sort of know that it's not real, and you're sort of caught in this imaginary kind of place. And so a child can be free of that fear by calling to the monster under the bed or the wolf in the closet and saying, if you're there and if it's your desire to attack me, you know, and if you're just kind of like biding your time and terrifying me, then let's go. Come on. You know, let's do it. Like if it's either now or 10 million years from now, let's just get it done right now. Or if you're not going to make good on your threat, so to speak, then and your desire is to keep me suspended and worry, then okay, then do that too. But either way, whatever you're going to do, just do it. And I'm ready to be done being afraid about it. Fuck my shit up. You see? So a child would call that out to the closet, say, fuck my shit up. Children shouldn't swear, but that would be the idea. Like, let's go, let's do it. Let's just get it done. Let's get it over with. Let's have it. An emphasis on whatever that threat is, whatever you're threatening, let's just see. And the grown-up version is being an adult in our lives and having fears about what could happen to us or, our possessions or our family or whatever, or our own bodies. Just say, okay, like, I don't want it to happen, and I want to stay safe, but let's go. Fuck my shit up. Whatever it is you're threatening to do, let's just do it. And so, like, when I say this, I want to be careful because I'm not saying to put yourself in danger. Like, this is something that you want to do while you're safe, sitting at home, drinking coffee, or you're on the bus, or you're just like physically you are safe, and you know that what you're doing is just sort of an energetic, sort of emotional thing. So you are physically safe and sound, and so you can say to the fear itself, let's go. I'm ready to stop being afraid. Whatever it is you have in store, let's do it. And then when you, like, people can only stay afraid. We can only stay afraid if there's this sense of cat and mouse, if there's this sense of like an experience that we're afraid of acknowledging or we're afraid is going to happen. And so we're constantly trying to figure out how to arrange our lives in such a way that we won't experience that, and so we're trying, we hope to get rich so we can get a safer house or whatever, or we hope we can get a partner so we won't feel lonely, or whatever it is we're trying to get so that we won't experience the experience or won't experience the fear. Does that make sense? So typically, if we're trying to create our lives so that the subject of our fear won't happen, it's not a stable enough ground to create with. So we can only really create very well, and we can only make our lives and make our lives really good if we can get the fear out of that creation, so that instead we can just create from a place of joy and a place of curiosity and interest and wonder and fun and excitement. So to do that, we release fear, and we release fear by facing the fear. And we face the fear by saying, I'm not going to run anymore. I'm literally not going to run. So just whatever you're going to do it. And then what happens is it feels scary. It feels like death. There will be this energetic wave. And what that is, it's just energy. It's just feelings. It's just an experience. In the words of Eliza Mattadalian in her book, In Search of the Miraculous, it was almost like a throwaway line in one of her paragraphs. Every experience is just an experience. And it won't hurt you. You are, again, safe and sound, sitting on a chair, sitting in a room, quiet and in your natural environment. None of this that can come up within you, any thought or idea or fear or emotion, none of it is able to hurt you. It's just that a part of you is convinced that it can or that it will kill you. And you just bypass that. You just go, let's go. And then that energy it can go. You can release it. And after you do that, it's so quiet and it's so nice. And you're back and aligned with that sense of silence, and you realize that your whole body is silent and the space between your cells is silent, and there's just so much quiet and silence and peace. And now all of that energy and all of that creativity that was being allocated towards avoiding experiencing that experience, now you can reclaim that power and that creativity and that energy and direct it towards whatever you wish to do with your life. And that is the Fuck My Shit Up meditation. I'll catch you later.